Let's check out, see what these guys are up to. They're roaming around. They've got a very messy room. Sometimes I think about what would happen if I opened up the top, as I do sometimes, and they got out. Or if they ever escape, where would they go? Well, like most youths, they'll go to the big city. We already live in Colorado, so they're not going to want to be impressed by Denver. We live west of the Mississippi, so they'll probably go to California. If they lived east, they go to New York, south, Atlanta, Midwest, come to Denver. So let's talk about California. Square state over here. First thing I'm gonna be surprised by, how much a home costs, how much a starting business costs. Why does that cost that much? Because of a fellow named Howard Jarvis. Howard Jarvis, 1975, I believe, initiated what has now been 4 decades of law of Prop 13, which limited property taxes of businesses and homes at no greater than 1% increase from the year before. So, what does that mean? If I buy my little house here on the prairie in California in 1980 for $100,000, you see me. In 6 years, my property tax will be roughly 110, 500, around there. That's 6 years later. Why 6? Now, my next door neighbor, same house, we live in a boring subdivision, looks exactly the same, built at the same time. He buys his house today, or 1986, we're in the past. And he pays $150,000 for it, which is market value. His property tax is 1% of that $150,000, not the $100,000 that I have over here. You can see how that might become an issue. And let's find out. But what about me, says my new neighbor. Let's find out. Howard Jarvis, a cigar smoking, vodka swilling, devout Mormon. Take that which you will. What was he for? He was all about inflation in the 70s, low taxes. With Prop 13 passed, that 1% increase will never be affected by inflation that was rampant in the 70s or in the future. Well, how does that help? Doesn't force anyone out of their home because they can't pay their increasing property tax bill, because California is becoming quite the place to live and desirable to live, and it's bringing more people in, raising property values, real market value. Who's it great for? Disproportionately the rich. It's a regressive tax. It's also good for old people that own their home and they're not moving. They can stay in their home. And this is bad for, since it's regressive, everyone in the future. It's terrible for infrastructure. California, once the bastion of roads, highways, schools, those have now fallen to near the bottom of the 50 state rankings for infrastructure, for dollar per pupil spent in the classroom. Tax base, general fund, depleted. New businesses, it is disproportionately difficult for a new business to open up for the cost prohibitive nature of property. New homeowners, usually people with not a ton of money, and renters are disproportionately affected. New homeowners, usually people that don't have a lot of money. And then, on top of it, Renters, they pay market rate. They're not paying some pinned rate from 1980 or 1977. Also, all other taxes go up. Sales taxes, business taxes, state income taxes. And so that's why you see all sorts of measures that have been attempted over the 40 years. But there have been very effective campaigns to squash them, like Prop 15 this year was knocked down because people worried that all of a sudden my house was going to get expensive. But isn't it already expensive?